Starfield. A game promising many great things to us, described as Fallout meets space with Skyrim's scope of scale. Whether or not that is true has yet to be seen, as the game isn't out yet, but hopefully it should be out by the end of the year. In the meantime, I wanted to go back and look at a similar studio, who tried to do something similar to what Starfield is doing and what we can learn from it. Welcome back, gaming gurus, back to my channel. You find yourself here once again seeking entertainment, controversial opinions, and good times. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Obsidian's, the guys who made Fallout New Vegas, attempt at space Fallout. This game, of course, is called The Outer Worlds. Now, before we get into it, I want to make something clear. This game is short, like 13 hours main quest, 40 hours for 100%ers. And the game is also not open world. It's a hub-based game, so think like Dragon Age Origins or Mass Effect. So buckle up and get ready to explore the topics of capitalism bad and space colonization. In the year 2019, this brand new space RPG released in the year where we were all stuck inside our homes due to, well, you know. I remember when this game released being really excited, as it was the studio that arguably made the best Fallout game, Fallout New Vegas. And in that game, it had several branching narratives which led to an overall replayability factor through the roof. This led me to buying the game, but on my first playthrough I couldn't get past like the 10-hour mark. I didn't actually beat the game until I decided to return to it for this video, so I can confidently say I missed out big time on my first playthrough. Not sure what put me off the first time, whether it was the art direction, the meh gunplay, or whatnot, but after coming back I enjoyed the game very much. I think the opening of the game in particular is fantastic. You get selected out of this group of colonists that has been stuck in space for 70 years because the ship got knocked out of hyperdrive or something like that, some sciencey shit. So the scientist fugitive dude, Phineas Wells, pulls you out and sends you off in an escape pod to this planet, Terra 2. This really sets the tone of the game well. Corporation bad because they fucked my ass over and left me in space. And as you progress through the game, you are opened up to the other side of the coin, where the corporations are providing colonists with homes to stay in, jobs, and protection. Upon landing on Terra 2, you were supposed to meet this bravado, swaggering space pirate Captain Hawthorne. And unfortunately for both us and him, he gets crushed under our escape pod. With how they described him, he might have been an awesome part of the game, honestly. They really hyped him up and murdered him in 2 seconds. Anyways, I digress. Our whole mission on this planet is we are trying to repair the ship that we acquired from Captain Hawthorne, the Unreliable. We also have the main plot of we are trying to save the rest of our colonists, but that requires more materials for sciencey shit so they don't rapidly explode when revitalized. So when you arrive here, you're met by this colony, Edgewater. It's depressing as hell and can only be described as your stereotypical office job personified into a cannery colony. One of the first things I really noticed is that for whatever reason, almost every female character has really short haircuts, except Parvati. It was just weird to me. Also, the fact that in character creation and throughout the game, natural hair color, except brown, is really rare or like doesn't exist as far as I could tell. Everyone has some sort of colored hair for the most part, but it wasn't like experiencing ruining or anything like that. It was just an interesting stylistic choice. This might have also been due to time constraints. I do know that they had to cut a lot from the game to get it out, and that they were trying to focus on the narrative the most. Anyways, after doing your usual RPG stuff, you go up to the mayor of the town and he's talking to this girl engineer, Parvati. We walk up there and they're like, yo, we need a power regulator. Got any? Parvati quips that the only power regulator they have in town is what powers the cannery machine. The mayor says, no, you can't have our thing, but then alerts us to some deserting colonists and informed us that their own community is powered by a power regulator as well. Ding, quest time. He also sends Parvati, this cute cinnamon roll of a companion, off with us as well to go help. So now we are faced with a classic Fallout New Vegas dilemma, right? So who's in the right? The colonists who abandoned the place because it sucks, or the mayor who truly believes that the reason they left was because he was too hard on them and not that the colony sucks? It's what first drew me into the game. It's like, damn, this is some serious shit. When you play through the questline, you have 3 options really. Steal their regulator, steal the cannery's regulator, or send the colonists back home, but you kick out the old mayor. Usually I just choose to steal the cannery's regulator and call it a day, and this gets Parvati a little cross with me, but down with capitalism. I always found it to be the most appropriate based on what I would do in the situation, given the fact that I was, left in space for 70 years to dry. So why the hell would I want to support one of these companies' colonies? Down with the global elite, or something like that. In this town, you can also pick up some kind of science preacher named Vicar Max. In the Church of Scientology, he's cool, he's kind of an asshole, but he also hates the town, as do I. So we get along just fine. Anyways, after deciding to toast the town of Edgewater by stealing their power and letting the questionably evil granny with the green thumb keep hers, I left to my ship after closing up some loose-end side quests. This planet left a good taste in my mouth. It featured, one main quest line with a serious choice that mattered in it, has 2 companions and some quests to kick off the game. Overall, a pretty good start and something that I was expecting out of Obsidian. Another thing I really like is that the game honestly has some pretty interesting mechanics to it. It features a time dilation system, which is just the non-copyrighted version of the VAT system from Fallout, but without the ability to specifically target limbs until a bit later. So it is a bit different as it slows time down, not stops it. There's also this time machine that lets you change your character's look to get into the restricted access areas by matching their outfits. I really enjoyed making use of this system to find goodies and things that I really shouldn't be able to get my hands on. This is also the first RPG in this style I've played since Mass Effect and Dragon Age that actually feature companion abilities and skill trees. Sure, most of the perks there are just for show, like stat boosts or boosts to your skills, but it does feature some actual things as well, and each companion has one unique ability, such as Parvati and her Seismic Slam hammer attack. It adds a bit extra to the companion system that games like Fallout and Skyrim were missing, in my opinion. Overall, these things make this game enjoyable to play even despite its flaws. Some of the best part about this game is the narrative, which should be expected in such a short game. It's really got to hit home or it's going to miss. And this is actually what one of the biggest complaints with the game is that I saw online, is just that the game is too short. Basically meaning people wanted more, and as the developers themselves put it, if the biggest problem people have with our game is that they wanted more of it, I think that's a pretty good problem to have. And I can't help but to agree, although I do prefer longer, more explorative RPGs, but I also enjoyed the Dragon Age Origins style, which is very similar to Outer Worlds, and the fact that you go to these areas, you complete the quests, and then you don't really need to go to that area again, you just move on. Minus the main hub, which would be your towns. So this is part of the reason why I'm really excited for Outer Worlds 2. Hopefully they'll have more time to work on it and make a more expansive and interesting world. And perhaps they add some actual feedback to gunplay. Obsidian, please. Weapons are not squishy marshmallows when you shoot them. They are more like angry little Tyler 1s trying to break free of their metal encasement when you shoot them. This game obviously took inspiration from 2 very popular series, Fallout and Mass Effect, and it crafted an enjoyable experience that covers rather heavy topics but mixes in enough jokes and humors to make it bearable. Reminds me a lot of Dragon Age Origins, like I said, especially with how the companions banter with one another. And none of the jokes really feel forced like, say, Borderlands 3's did, but rather they are mixed in flawlessly and they don't pull you out of the game world. So what can we take from this game? Well, if we look at both the Outer Worlds as well as Mass Effect, which are arguably 2 of the more popular space RPGs not related to Star Wars, both of these games feature narrative-heavy experiences where your choices affect the well-being of the galaxy and its planets in some ways. They also both feature companion systems where you can group up with people from all walks of space life, and all your companions reside naturally within your ship. So what can we expect of Starfield moving into this genre? Well, I would expect the companion system to be pulled over from previous Bethesda titles like Skyrim and Fallout 4 and Fallout 3. I don't think they'll change their whole system for companions with this game. However, I do think that your ship may function as your sort of home, in which your companions may live when you aren't using them. Bethesda games have featured one companion with minimal control over them, except their gear by your side in all their games. All the Elder Scrolls games and all the Fallout games they made. I suspect that Starfield will be taking what they are developing, or what they were developing with Fallout 4, to new levels with Creation Engine 2. Those systems, of course, being how to make an excellent FPS game, as well as the building system. Perhaps in Starfield you'll be able to customize your ship or build settlements on planets, with an alien version of Preston Garvey telling you your settlement is under attack. I do think that Starfield will have a bit more interesting of a narrative compared to Fallout 4, but will still let you create your own adventure Skyrim style. But being able to explore an expansive world, or universe in this case, discovering awesome stuff at each turn. Overall, I'm pretty excited to see what Starfield's team has in store for us, and only time will tell what we actually get, but knowing Bethesda, it will end up being a slightly unfinished but masterfully crafted world, featuring many areas, interesting quest lines, and overall a good time. Although, since they're using a slightly different engine, a newer version of the Creation Engine, I imagine it'll take a little more than usual for an unofficial Starfield patch to come out. But modders are awesome, and we will get it eventually. I expect it to be out within the first 2 weeks. Oh, and about the Outer Worlds 2. While we don't have a release date yet, they did give us an awesomely funny trailer a little over a year ago, so I expect it will be releasing in the next year or two. I really like the Outer Worlds as it doesn't take itself too seriously, you know? It knows what it's trying to be, and it fits that perfectly. It's supposed to be a humorous adventure while still having its serious elements to mix in, and they work really well with each other. This year's shaping up to be a monumental one, not only for Bethesda, but also for gaming in general, with games such as Wild Hearts, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Dead Island 2, Jedi Survivor, Street Fighter 6, Redfall, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and potentially even Tekken 8 really late in the year. If you're as excited as I am for this year, hit that subscribe button to stay notified of when I post any updates on up-and-coming games, reviews on old classics, and discussions on gaming-related topics. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to making more awesome stuff for you guys to enjoy. If you want access to my entire upload schedule and any future projects, a direct way to request videos, chat about all things gaming, or just want to support a small content creator, then consider pledging to my Patreon in the description below. Thanks for watching, have a beautiful rest of your day, or night. Comment below what time you're watching this. And as always, my next 3 videos in the works. Stardew Valley, a wholesome experience. While we wait for Octopath Traveler 2, Valheim, a wholesome experience. And with that, peace.